What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of Action Sunday. This week, as requested, I was going to review a Michael Dudikoff movie. I was asked to review the movie Moving Target. So I said, yes, I would, but I would up the ante by also reviewing Strategic Command. Or the original title was going to be called Executive Command. However, unfortunately, due to powers beyond my explanation, I cannot find for the life of it find Moving Target. Now, not to be confused with another movie called Moving Target. There's a whole when you type in that title, a bunch of things come up. It's either the Marine 4 Moving Target, of course. Let's talk about that movie. The Bear is probably the worst of the Marine franchise, worse than the first movie. That's a side note, but that's a story for another day. And then there's a made-for-TV movie that starred Jason Bateman, which was more of like a crime caper movie, but I'm like, that's not the one I'm looking for. Where's the one with Michael Dudikoff? Unfortunately, it was unavailable. So I was going to make this double feature, but so I decided to just look at this movie, but maybe eventually, if I can get my hands on Moving Target, I will review it and I will give my 2 cents on that. I hear it's an interesting plot, and of course your typical Michael Dudikoff fare. But this one, oh golly! I'm going to explain the plot of this one, and of course why the title changed. So, in this movie, Dudikoff plays a former Marine who's been turned to a scientist and works for a facility somewhere undisclosed in the country. It gets attacked by terrorists. They break in and they steal a bioweapon. And then later on in the movie, they somehow hijack an airliner that happens to have the vice president on board and hold him for ransom or leverage until their needs are done. Gee, all this sounds vaguely familiar, right? To another movie that also came out around the same time. I believe I've also reviewed it on this channel. You might have heard of it. It's called Executive Decision. So there's the reason why the name changed, because I feel like, because people thought, oh, is this a sequel or is this a spinoff because it has the same title? No. Unfortunately, this has nothing to do with that. It is can't believe I'm saying this. This movie is more of a ripoff / copycat movie, but not only just Executive Decision, but a little bit of Air Force One. With the only difference here, instead of the President of the United States and Air Force One getting hijacked, it's a private jet. But of course, the movie keeps flipping between it's Air Force Two. I'm like, there is no Air Force Two, never. I mean, wow, this movie is a jumbled fucking mess. I couldn't believe what they did for this movie. And I feel like, again, this one, you probably heard me say about this for AR Dudikoff movie that I have reviewed. Man, I feel like Dudikoff would have been better off doing anything else, because I felt like this just hampered his performance. I felt like this was just right up his alley. It's just a simple action martial arts movie with an action set piece kind of thing. But man, oh man, like everything you can look at back. The more that you watch it, and the more that I watched it, I'm like, hey, Saif, it just got me mad. I mean, like, I think I loved Executive Decision. Don't get me wrong. I love that. I actually enjoyed that movie more than I enjoyed this one. And the whole Die Hard on a plane aspect, that movie had a bigger budget. This was so bad. This was Bush League. This is like the Wish version of Executive Decision, except instead of Steven Seagal, you have Michael Dudikoff. But here's the thing: I prefer Dudikoff over Seagal. That's just me. Don't shoot me, but that's my preference. But my lord, this movie, I don't think there's anything redeemable in this thing. The only thing that this movie had going was, the quote was, didn't mess around. It's like, as soon as the opening credits sequence is open, you get the saying, okay, here's Dudikoff, he's doing his work. Then they doesn't mess around. Oh, in come the terrorists. They take the bioweapon, they're shooting up the place, and then they just disappear into the night. Like at least there's some lull and downtime in between the two big major events of the movie. But man, you're just begging for. I feel like I was just begging for death in this, because there was just nothing. There was just the more I kept thinking about it, the more I was like, God, they could have made this any better. Just didn't make Dudikoff look good by any means. I mean, he's better off doing anything else. I apologize for that, but man, this was probably I'm going to say this is probably one of the weakest, or probably one of the worst of Dudikoff's movies. That's just me. I mean, the action is there. The cast had me scratch my head as well as my jaw hit the floor. Outside of Dudikoff, you had the late Paul Winfield and Bryan Cranston. Are you kidding me? Bryan Cranston? But man, yeah, Walter White is in this. I was laughing. I'm like, what did they do here? It's like his character was more of a comedic foil than ever. And of course, you could definitely see that this character was definitely appealed to Bryan Cranston at the time because, hello, he was the dad of Malcolm in the Middle. I mean, holy crap. I'm like, look how far he's come from being these comedic characters, and now he's Walter White, and also worked on Power Rangers. Well, that's a story for another day. But you get my point. But man, outside of the star power, this movie, I think they should just throw this movie in the trash. But I don't know. I was just so mad by the end of it. I was like, it's literally the same cut and paste thing from Executive Decision, except with a much far worse premise. A not as much star power like before, but yeah, I feel like a lot could have been improved. But I will give this movie where it's due. I mean, maybe in time, who knows? And with that, I'm going to give a strategic command or executive command, whatever you want to call it. I'm giving this a 4 out of 10. I wanted to rate it a little lower, but again, there's a couple moments of brilliance. Other than that, I would say maybe avoid if you're a Michael Dudikoff purist, may you like it more than I do. Who knows? All right. So that does for this week. Let me know what you think. Thumbs up the video, subscribe to my channel, and stay tuned for some more awesome and exciting content. Hey, safe.